This is the Midday Market Report for Monday on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Joined at midday by Justin McKinney of Commstock. Justin, what's happening in the trade in the grains?
Pretty wild range on the day today on the corn and the soybeans for that matter. Right now we got old crop corn down 4, new crop corn down about $0.0175, which is, fairly sizable, 7 cents or so off the lows of the day. So a little bit of recovery happening in the corn. Over on the soybeans, trading 7 cents better on the May contract. Well, the November is up 6.5. We did have some flash sales this morning. I'm sure you talked about those already, but they didn't really provide much fuel right off the bat. It kind of seems like we're definitely following that crude oil market where that has traded. I mean, the nearby WTI contract has traded a $15 range today.
And then, Justin, this morning we were theorizing that President Trump's comments about the conflict in the Middle East having a lot to do with the price movement in the markets, both overall and in the ag marketplace. Is that how you see it as well?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you could go back and look at a 5-minute chart or 10-minute chart, whatever. When those comments came out this morning, boy, we definitely turned the markets quite a bit lower, very quickly. So I don't know. It seems like the longer the day goes on, maybe we're not. The crude oil market's buying into the rhetoric. We're off the lows quite a ways, but the grain market maybe not quite putting as much stock into that as we move forward.
And then also, Justin, coming up later this week, we are expecting a big announcement from President Trump, and we think it's going to be the RVO's announcement. How much of that has been factored into the markets, and how much will happen when that announcement is made, if it happens?
Well, soybean oil is very reactive to any sort of headline news. We're trading about $4 or so off the top of that market, so maybe we'll get a challenge or a pushback of those old highs. Potentially better than that. I personally struggle with getting overly bullish. We asked for those RVOs last year. It was the 5.4, 5.6 after they waived the small refinery exemptions and pushed them back on to the market. So I just really struggle to see EPA come out with something better than what we asked for. And again, we've known that that's what was asked for, that 5.4 to 5.6 last year. So it sure feels like maybe we're pricing a bunch of that in already.
What's happening on the livestock side of the trade today? Has the movement been as wild in the prices there?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably more so on that surprise cattle on feed report. Personally, I thought the placements when the average trade guess came out were too low. Last year, you look back at the market, there was no panic, there was no rush, there was no incentive to get those feeder cattle in the market. The heavier, the better, because the price was just climbing. So, the longer you left them out there, the better off you were. This year, it feels like that tone has changed a little bit. Now we're still trading up a dollar here this morning on the front month March feeders. April's down about 22 cents. Moving forward, those big placements, I know the idea is you can only place a month, but I think the market's getting comfortable with the idea that we probably won't see that Mexico border open for a fair amount of time. Now, that is something if they would announce that at their garden party at the end of the week on the South Lawn. I don't know anybody that's guessing that, but that would be a definite black swan for the feeder cattle market. Fed cattle trading 17.5 cents better today. Boxes, very slow movement on the boxes. Hearing from the warehouses that they're having a tough time selling some of the cuts into the market. So there is profit in the packer margins right now, but I surely would question how quickly they ramp up the kills and, potentially back that meat up, especially if you have to put that meat in the coolers at $400. It's not like you're inventorying that at 250 or 270 boxes anymore.
What's the best way for our listeners to get in touch for more marketing information?
Absolutely, Mark. They can call me direct here at 320-589-4345. Main line at 712-227-1110.
Thanks so much for the time, Justin. Always appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, Mark.
That was Justin McKinney with Commstock. We will have a check of the numbers next. May corn down 4 3/4 at 460 3/4. May soybeans up 5 1/4 at 1166.5. May soybean meal down $1.70 at $326.30. May soybean oil up 52 cents at $66.03. Chicago wheat down 10 3/4 at $584.5. Minneapolis wheat is down 5 cents at $6.23. Kansas City hard red wheat down 7 1/4 at $5.99. May oats down 16 cents at $3.42. On the Merc, April live cattle up 23 cents at $234.28. April feeder cattle unchanged at $351.18. April lean hogs down 33 cents at $90.95. April pork cutout unchanged at $103.40. Class 3 milk up 11 cents at $17.35. This has been a check of the midday markets on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.